I'm gonna be making my very first upside down sticky bun, caramel, maple, pecan, cinnamon roll buns. I know that sounds very long, but it was actually very simple, and I'm gonna put all the ingredients down in the description because there's a bit to it. Honestly, not too many ingredients. You probably have all the things in the pantry and the fridge. First, had to grow the yeast. Well, I've discovered that my yeast was very fresh because this big boy grew a lot. A little pinch of salt. This is the vanilla paste, and I'm using vanilla yogurt and then 2 eggs, and both the paste and the yogurt had vanilla beans in it, so you can see it in the dough, and everything is going to be mixing in your stand, or you can do it by hand, or if you don't have it, pretty easy dough, very very gluteny dough, so it's going to be like what kind of rubbery. Well, what gluten needs to stretch. That's the whole point of the bun. To form gluten, you need to stretch the dough, so it was in there for about 10-12 minutes just to form that gluten, because you need that for a beautiful bun like this. And then this is gonna rest for an hour at least. When the dough has risen and I'm ready, I'm buttering my I think it's an 8x8 inch pan. This is a caramel and maple. I've only had like a tablespoon of maple, so I'm gonna add it to it. Why not? It did add some flavor to it, and it also helped it to be a little bit more runny. Just mixing that in a little slowly, and this is what it's gonna look like. Ooh, beautiful. And we're gonna put this on the bottom of our tray and make sure that it gets everywhere. And then I have a cup of pecans, which I blended up in a little fruit processor, or you can use whole bits too. Just make sure you have like one nice layer, so when you flip it upside down, flip it over, it nicely falls out and you can still see the whole bits of the pecans. But when you have it in chopped up in little pieces like that, it will make sure that it covers every hole. And then punching down the dough is so satisfying. And this is not the full growth because it was still proofing after I rolled it up and put it in place. Like I said, it's a very gluten base dough, so it's gonna be stretchy. It wants to bounce back, so when you roll it, it's gonna bounce back. So it takes some elbow grease to roll out gluten dough. So, but you can see the beautiful vanilla beans, little bean nuggets in there. I think it just makes it look so much prettier. Now I'm going for fat, chunky cinnamon roll buns, also because the 8x8 pan is limited space, so I need to make sure that it fits everywhere. I have a cup of brown sugar and about a teaspoon of cinnamon, which we're gonna layer down on the bottom because it's a cinnamon roll. I'm gonna make like a very basic one because it's my first time making cinnamon buns. And then butter. Yeah, I'll put the amount of butter we need in the description because I'm too lazy to read it right now. But butter, all over melted butter, and then you put the sugar on top of the butter, so the butter helps it to stick to the dough and also gonna absorb, and it's gonna be like this really nice buttery cinnamony flavor. And then just roll these up. Now if you want more rolls within the roll, then you need to stretch the dough thinner so you have more rolling up to do. But for me, I want to create these chunky bits, and it's gonna be about like a little over 1 inch tall for this, and you can cut them either with a knife or with a string, like a kitchen string, just like that. Woo, beautiful. I like the kitchen string method because it doesn't like squish it down and makes the filling fall out. Now I'm putting everything into on top of the pecans, and I'm leaving some space in between because this has to rest and proof for another about 30 minutes to cover, and come back in 30 minutes and look at these big boys. They have risen. Like I said, I have good fresh yeast. I'm gonna bake these at 350 for about 30 minutes, but always check because everyone's oven is different. Some ovens are stronger, some ovens are weaker, so you might need like 34 minutes. Just make sure everything is brown. You can also use a toothpick to put in and see if it comes out wet. If it's wet, it's still not ready. Now these buns wanted to escape, so I used a spatula to like kind of push it back into place. But on a parchment paper or your serving tray, you're gonna flip it upside down when it's cooled down a little bit. Otherwise it's gonna be way too hot. If you have some leftovers of the topping in your pan, just scrape it out and put it on top, and done. Yeah, it was so easy. So it was stupid easy, and this is my first time making it, so if it came out good for me, it's gonna come out good for you. Definitely next time I'm gonna be making smaller ones, like not so tall, because these are big chunky boys. It actually reminds me of like IKEA cinnamon rolls because they are big like this, and I don't mind it being big like that, but if it was smaller and more stretched out, I could have more rolls inside. But the dough came out magnificent, and I'm gonna use the same dough recipe for other rolls, even like cheese rolls, just with less sugar and not vanilla yogurt. So I loved this bun dough, and that's what's most important when it comes to baking, is that your dough is good. The filling, that's up to you. The dough works.